everyone, so if you didn't catch my vegan June announcement, I'm going to be doing a what I ate video Monday to Friday throughout the month of June. You've all been asking for these videos more regularly and I'm so happy that they can help some of you, and so I thought I'd treat you to this. I'm obviously filming these videos a day in advance, so yesterday for breakfast I made a blackberry nice cream bowl. So I started like always by blending up 2 frozen chopped bananas until almost smooth, and then I added in a cup of defrosted blackberries, you could use fresh, and a teaspoon of vanilla extract, and I blended that up again only for around 15 seconds so that you still get the swirls of blackberry running through. I served that up and that made 3 scoops, and then I recreated this amazing blackberry syrup. I just boiled down some blackberries and then I put them through a sieve and blended that up with half a cup of agave nectar and half a cup of hot water, and so I drizzled that over, and then I added some more blackberries, some goji berries and some shredded coconut. Such a perfect summer breakfast. It's so fruity and refreshing, and you can totally experiment with different fruits. Raspberries or blueberries would be amazing as well, and obviously go crazy with your toppings. You can add on whatever you like in terms of fruits and nuts and seeds. So for a mid-morning snack I then made up a chocolate milkshake, and I just used 400 milliliters of my homemade oat milk, recipes down below, and then I added in 4 chopped dates, 3 tablespoons of raw cacao powder, a teaspoon of agave nectar just for extra sweetness, and I blended that up until smooth and poured that into my cup. And I like this one because it tends to keep it cold for a while. I also had that with a Pulsin bar, and this is like my little treat section of my fridge door, and I just put it in there for a while to chill. But this is the Maca Bliss raw chocolate brownie. It's made with cashews, cacao, dates, maca, loads of other stuff. It tastes amazing. It's just like a chocolate brownie, but it's so healthy for you with so much goodness crammed in, and it went perfectly with the chocolate milk for a really chocolatey morning snack. So for lunch I made a lemon and lime quinoa salad with chickpea nuggets, and I just started by preheating my oven to 180 degrees Celsius. Then to a large bowl I added 1 can of drained rinsed chickpeas, and to that I added in 2 tablespoons of onion flakes, a teaspoon of garlic powder, and seasoned it with salt and pepper. I just mashed that up with a fork until it was as smooth as I could get it. It really doesn't matter if you've got lumpy bits of chickpea in there. Then I just take a small amount of the mix and shape it into little nuggets, and I pop those onto a lined baking tray. Mine made 14 nuggets altogether, and then I cook those for 20 minutes. In that time I rinsed and cooked up some quinoa. I use 1 cup of quinoa with 2 cups of hot water. Season it with salt, and that takes about 15 minutes to cook. So whilst that was cooking I chopped up some cucumber and also some fresh parsley, and I made a quick dressing using the zest of 1 lemon, the zest of 1 lime, then the juices from the lemon and the lime, 2 tablespoons of avocado oil, you could use olive oil, and 2 crushed garlic cloves. I mixed that all up, and then once the quinoa was cooked I added that back to my large bowl with the cucumber and the parsley and poured over the dressing. I added a few spoons of hummus to the bottom of my bowl, and then I poured in the quinoa, removed the chickpea nuggets from the oven and added those on last. I also had that with a glass of lemon water, which is just so refreshing during the warm months, as is this salad. It's a great summer lunch. You could take this in containers to work with the chickpea nuggets as well, but altogether it's just such an amazing filling lunch. I had a few more of those nuggets for an afternoon snack, but I also made up a pesto that I was going to use for dinner as well. So I blended up a large handful of fresh basil with half a cup of pine nuts and 2 crushed cloves of garlic. Once that was nice and smooth I added in an avocado, 3 tablespoons of nutritional yeast, which adds that slight cheesy flavour, and then the juice of half a lemon, and I blended it all up again until it was nice and smooth. I just put a few spoonfuls of that in a bowl, and I had 3 more of those nuggets with it. I then put the remaining pesto in a jar and stored that in the fridge for later on. But yeah, the nuggets are great as a snack. I like them with my homemade ketchup as well. They're just great for dipping and they freeze really well, so I popped the rest of mine in the freezer. For dinner I made homemade gnocchi with pesto, and I just start by boiling up some whole potatoes. I use 3 and this serves 4 people, and once they're soft I leave them to cool down for a little bit before peeling off the skins. Then place them in a bowl and mash them up until they were as smooth as I could get them. You could do this the easy way and use a potato ricer if you have one. I then seasoned that with salt and ground black pepper, then added a cup of chickpea flour which I sieved in so that there were no lumps. I mixed that together with my hands just to form a dough, and then I sprinkled some more flour onto the work surface and tipped the dough out onto it. I then knead that for a good couple of minutes and then cut the dough ball in half, and I took one of the halves and then roll that out into like a long sausage. Then I split that in half again and rolled it right out. I then took a knife and cut those into little pillows, roughly around an inch in width. I then drop them in small batches at a time to a pan of boiling water. They sink to the bottom, and then when they're done, within a few seconds they float to the top, and you can just take them out straight away, put them to the side whilst you boil up the rest. Once they're done you can fry them if you like, so again I just cook them in small batches in a little olive oil for around half a minute, but I keep giving the pan a good shake whilst they cook. Whilst the final few were cooking I just added some half cherry tomatoes to a pan with a little hot water and allowed those to cook. Then I added in 2 large handfuls of fresh washed spinach and wilted that down. Back in the other pan I just toasted up some pine nuts, and once everything was cooked I put the gnocchi in our bowls and added on a good spoonful of the pesto, gave that a good mix, and then added on the spinach and the tomatoes and the toasted pine nuts. I also added on some nutritional yeast to mine, and this is such a delicious dinner. It can seem quite time consuming, but it's actually really simple. I froze the rest of my dough. You can also freeze them once they're boiled too. You can also have it with just like a basic tomato sauce as well, or you can even make this dish with a pre-made vegan gnocchi that you can buy from the supermarket to make it a little bit easier if you want. For dessert I made some chocolate stuffed dates. This is so easy. I just had 4 dates which I sliced open and I removed their stones. Then I took some of this panna chocolate, fig and wild orange chocolate. It's raw, organic, handmade, 70% cacao, no dairy, no gluten, sugar free, and it says on it love the earth, which is really cool. So I took 2 squares of that and chopped those in half, so I had 4 pieces all together, and I just stuffed each date with a piece of chocolate. I had that with my evening cup of peppermint tea, and these were so amazing. Probably one of the best things I've eaten. It was like gooey caramel chocolate filled goodness. It's now definitely one of my favourite desserts. This chocolate kind of made it taste like chocolate orange, but you could use any vegan chocolate you like. I'm going to try it with all the different chocolates. So thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you again tomorrow for another one. Bye!